Hey, what's up? This is your girl again, Marlo Shaw, and you're watching EncoreForum. Tonight, we're discussing the spoken and unspoken words of music. We want to discuss a little bit more about the lyrics that we're listening to. Please welcome with me my guest panel. We have Miss Karizma on the panel today. Hello, Karizma. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So, Karizma, you're an artist as well as a songwriter yourself.
That is correct.
All right, and we're gonna dive a little bit more into your brand or style of music, if you will. I would like to also welcome J Mix. J Mix, what's up?
Hey, Miss Lady.
How are
doing?
you?
I'm doing fine.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
You're very much welcome. The pleasure is mine.
Oh, and thank you. Now, J Mix, you're an artist as well as a composer.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're a DJ?
Yes.
So what else do you do?
I produce, write. I do a little bit of everything, sing.
Oh, we even have a singer in the house. All right now. And we would like to also welcome Miss Alicia Ivory. What's up, Miss Ivory?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Now, you're a journalist, correct? You study journalism. And
Well, yeah, I studied journalism for a little bit, and I had a magazine here in Milwaukee for a little while. And now I run a nonprofit. So, run a nonprofit for teen girls and stuff like that, all around community stuff.
Tell me a little bit more about your actual magazine that you published here.
Yeah, well, Voice Magazine ran in 2008 at the height of the Depression, or depression in our community at least. And so it only had 3 issues we ran, 3 complete issues, and it was basically all things that are urban women. So we talked a lot about social issues, a lot about self-esteem, a lot about reproductive health, a lot of just all the things that are with us women. We even did some political things and some educational things, talking about resumes, things that are basic for our survival too.
Okay, so a lot of writing, obviously.
Yeah, a lot of writing.
Time went into developing your magazine.
Yeah.
Okay, now speaking of writing, we want to dive right into the topic this evening, the spoken and unspoken words. Now, please tell me, Karizma, when you're listening to lyrics of your favorite artist, what are some lyrics or some wording that captures you or speak to you as an audience member?
Well, I think I listen to all genres of music, so it's not anything in particular, but when I do listen to music, I try not to take it to heart per se. Being an artist myself, I try to, understand or try to put myself in that place that they were at when they may have been writing that song, or, when that song was composed, or, I listen to the melodies and things like that. So it's just different things that I listen to, when I'm listening. So.
Okay. Well, J-Mix, what about you? When we're speaking about lyrics themselves, and you're an MC, so lyrics is very vital to your craft.
Very important.
Okay. So as an audience member, what are certain lyrics or certain wordings that interest you, whether it's about success or in the grind or pain?
Well,
go ahead.
I'm old school. I come from the days of listening to Big Daddy Kane, Eric B. and Rakim, EPMD. So it's a different form of lyricism that's out there right now. Right now, it's more about swag.
Okay.
The lyrics, as far as the composition and as far as the metaphorical phrases, they're not as deep as they were, in the 90s and the early 2Ks. So it's more about swag, it's more about the beat, it's more about being up-tempo.
Okay. Well, Alicia, would you like to add to the music that you listen to and what message you're receiving?
Well, I think regardless of genre, because I listen to all genres of music too, I think when I leave, when the song is over, I want to be left with something. Something, I think regardless of what kind of music you listen to or what your purpose is in listening to it, you're left with something.
Correct.
Regardless of what song it is. So I want to be left with something that's going to edify me. Okay. You know what I mean? Something, it doesn't have to be all girl power. It doesn't have to be super Christian or any of those kind of things. But I want it to be something that I can take with me and apply to my life and move in a positive way. Yeah. So if it's about swag, tell me some positive ways that I can get my swag.
Right.
Don't tell me something that's unattainable.
Right.
And then when I don't have it, I feel empty.
Right.
Because I don't have a gold chain, or I don't have a big booty, or I don't have this or that.
Right.
You know, I want something where I can take it with me.
And then too, if I may add, like listening to different lyrics, I like to listen to music that make my soul feel good or make me smile. And it depends on what type of day I'm having. If it's a day that I feel like I want to ride out, let me listen to something I want to ride out to, you know. Or if it's something, you know, that may make me feel like I want to cry, then it just depends on the mood and the feeling and, you know, what type of day you have and how you feel at that point.
What's going on in your life at that time. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Well, at this present time, we are going to go ahead and take a commercial break. Please stay tuned because we have many, many other topics to talk about, and we're going to get to know our guest. Stay tuned. EncoreForum. Well, welcome back. And again, you're watching EncoreForum, and we have some lovely, lovely people here on the panel today. Miss Karizma is in the house, as well as J Mix, and Miss Ivory here, aka Alicia. And we're basically talking about the spoken and unspoken words of music. And just to give a quick summary, we're talking about how lyrics are very, very vital to the artist as well as to the audience member. Now let's dive a little bit more into the actual lyrics and some artists. Now, when we think of hip hop, oftentimes at this present time, like you stated, there's more about the swagger. You're talking about the hustle, the grind, things of that nature. So an artist that comes to my mind is Rick Ross. Rick Ross is phenomenal, very, very gifted. But when he came on the scene, he took on the alter ego, if you will, of Rick Ross. Do you have any comments to say about how you feel about the artist taking on and having an alter ego to put forth the message or his words?
Well, the first thing I like to say is, as far as like the personas that are being made up out there, I think it needs to change where it has to be more music for the kids, because it's like that type of music. Rick Ross, I love Rick Ross, but I consider that like grown man music. That's something that, you know, I wouldn't want my 13-year-old son listening to.
Okay.
So I think that needs to change.
Okay, and I understand. Okay, well, since you took it there, let's go there. I totally understand what you're saying, but if Rick Ross was here, what if he said, well, my music really is geared towards a more mature audience, and it's not my fault if
it's
13, 14-year-olds decide to listen to the music. And if I'm not mistaken, that has been the argument, I mean, for many, many years past, and I'm sure will be the many years going forward. Go ahead, Alicia.
Yeah, I don't think that it's so much of the personas being presented to children as much as it's just about the only persona being presented to children. So, I mean, it's not a new thing that our children are listening to inappropriate music. I listened to things that were way too adult for me, and my parents listened to things that were way too adult to them, and on and on and on, back to the beginning of music ever. But now it's been so, it's just a cash cow to be the baddest, to be the toughest, to be this. And it's not reality for these rappers. These rappers aren't getting killed every day. It's our kids getting killed every day.
Exactly.
You know, and so I think if you can present a variety of images, then they can pick and choose who they're going to be. But right now, we're just shoving these images down their throats.
That's true, too. Because in my days when I was a kid, we had rappers that specified on certain issues. Slick Rick was the storyteller. Chuck D and Public Enemy were about the political issues. Rakim was about knowledge of self. And then you also had your Ice-T's and Eazy-E's that were about the streets and hustling and freedom of speech and so on and so forth. But nowadays, it's like you got 4 or 5 subjects that are constantly being pushed out in the public.
Right. But why? Is it because that's what we're allowed to listen to? Or is that because that's what's hot and that's what's popping? I mean, why? Because there are so many artists out here.
I think it's more, it starts with the artist, first of all. Like, when you creating a song, you know, whether it's for you, it's your life, or however you come up with that concept, you're coming up with a concept. So it's based off how you present that concept. As far as if it's hot or not, I think the way the music industry is now is that's what it's about. The, if you will, shoot 'em up, bang, bang, swag it out, you know, ride out, or club dance, booty music, you know, things like that. When back in the days, you know, they talked about life and things that happen in real life. And I think music needs to come back to that, you know.
And I think, too, I think we put a lot of responsibility on these artists. And not saying that they don't have any creative control, but the artist really is what who pushes that, you know, is what their label makes them.
Correct.
So
the creative team.
Right. So if you, yeah, I'm gonna shake my booty and I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna bend over, I'm gonna slap it and do all this other stuff. If that's what you're forcing me to do,
that's true.
And then not only are they forcing the artist, but then they're also forcing the listeners, because there's so much whack music that is just drilled into us day by day by day.
True.
That they're forcing it to be hot. Yeah. It's imposed on us. It's not true. Like we decide what's hot.
But then imagine how it would be if they imposed that same, you know, that same rhythm of, you know, intensity as far as playing music back to back, if it was something a little more positive.
Right.
Or something a little more to say, well, this is how you could deal with this situation, or something dealing with the heart, or, you know, just different topics.
That's because that large engine that controls the media airwaves, that's what they want to pump out there. They don't pump the political rapper. They don't pump the conscious-minded rapper.
That's true.
Or singer.
That's true.
Or singer.
That's true.
And on top of that,